Today in Dáil Éireann, Carol Nolan has just given an amazing speech about immigration into Ireland. Of course, everybody in the country now knows that immigration and the human trafficking ring from the EU and the UN has gone way too far. It's gone out of control. This one hopefully is going to be amazing. Let's hear what she has to say about it.
Minister, there are countries in the world where if you voice your opposition to massively destabilising levels of immigration, illegal immigration I want to add, you can and will be shot and killed. It doesn't appear to matter how respectfully or constructively you may seek to argue for stronger borders, national sovereignty, or just a decision to put your own people first. Then there are countries in the world, such as our own here, that have mercifully not reached this point yet. But that does not mean that you will not be silenced in other less obvious or dramatic ways. Your image and your reputation will be dragged through the mud. You may be called a threat to social cohesion. And you will be portrayed as a villain out to undermine democracy and the unlimited so-called right of all of the world to arrive here on our doorstep, whether they have a passport or not, and often they don't have passports. The facts are clear. The Western world is being engulfed by unprecedented levels of public rage regarding the harms being caused by reckless immigration and migration policies. Time and time again, the majority of our own people, when asked, express a clear desire to dramatically reduce the flood of people arriving here in the middle of a housing crisis. They are often ignored and vilified, treated as working-class scum. And this untrue and unfair view, often expressed, is rampant in society. And there is the view, of course, that how dare they upset any cosy consensus of the establishment and the establishment politicians who masquerade as friends of the ordinary working man and woman. There is a sickness within any political system that treats its own people with such unrelenting disdain. We want our country back from the grip of rampant illegality. We want order and stability.
Well, hang on a second. Time wasn't up. The timer behind her, we could see it. It was still ticking down. She had 10 seconds left. What the hell? So absolutely amazing speech. They tried to cut her off prematurely, of course, because she was speaking too much based facts for them to handle. Let's go over it once again. So she basically talked about illegal and legal immigration. Of course, illegal is against the law. Nobody would ever argue that. I mean, it's basically, are you for the rule of law or are you not? And of course, some people in Ireland are not for the rule of law. They're for a total collapse of the entire country, the economy. They hate the whole country. And mostly these are Irish people a lot of the times. And they're Marxist communists that seek to just destroy the country from within. The second one is legal immigration. Now, of course, everybody close to you, everybody, maybe some people in your family might be legally immigrants. And this is a tough one because, of course, you know, few people can do some work, whatever, but for the vast majority, guys, okay, that are flooding into the country over the last number of years, it absolutely has to be curtailed. Absolutely. Nobody would say otherwise because there's a housing crisis. But if you're someone that comes over here from Southeast Asia, whatever, you know, Roma Gypsy, whatever, doesn't really matter where you're coming from. There has to be a curtailment of this because you can't just let, 10 million people from Bangladesh come into Ireland. That's not how it would function. The country would totally collapse, guys. You know, with a housing crisis, there's a healthcare crisis, education crisis, everything. Food shortages. I mean, it's just a disaster if that was to happen. So yeah, pretty great speech there. She said that in some countries around the world, you get shot and killed if you actually try to debate this, which obviously North Korea, probably some countries, Venezuela beforehand. I think Venezuela's still pretty terrible, but some countries anyway, that if you try and critique the government, they have a regime and they'll just kill you, right? And she's saying it hasn't gotten there yet, but who's to say that the government might stop free speech, shut down the social media platforms, and curtail all freedoms that we have in this country? That could happen tomorrow. And then she also goes on to say it's basically the same thing that's happening in Ireland. You're not getting shot, but your public image is getting annihilated. Like if you speak up to question this, I mean, it hasn't happened to me, but maybe some other people. I just don't give a shit, to be honest. But some people's image may get tarnished, or they may lose their job or whatever. Their reputation will be dragged through the mud. You'll be called a threat to social cohesion. You'll be portrayed as a villain out to undermine democracy and that kind of thing. And you'll basically just be character assassinated, you know. And that is true, guys. For some people, that's true. Less so in 2025. I think if you come on your platform as a professional, as most people should do anyways, and not a goofball. Some people are just goofy on the right, but if you come on your platform and you speak facts every single day, like I see a lot of loyal patriots do in Galway, in Dublin, Cork, Limerick, that kind of thing, then people will respect that. And your reputation will not be destroyed. Absolutely not, right? But yeah, she talked about how you put your own people first, Ireland first. It's amazing to see. And it's funny like that I only see like women talking about this. I don't think many other people in Dáil Éireann that are men talk about this. Like the men have basically lost their balls and the women have found them. You know what I mean? It's like, because the women I think know behind all this, they're the most at threat. Like they're vulnerable. They're the same as kids. Women are the same as kids in terms of vulnerability. They can't defend themselves. So when men aren't protecting them, when men don't speak up, you actually hurt women as well and children. It's kind of a good thing, like men have to protect women and children, but it actually just makes the country a disaster because most men don't speak up about it. But yeah, that was an absolute kill shot. She destroyed them at the end. You know, this is a sickness with the political system. And of course, the country is full of rampant illegality and just a disaster, guys, overall. So another breaking news story today. It says Donald Trump was talking to Keir Starmer and he said, call out the military to stop all the small boats. Same immigration debate. In the UK, they said the same issue as in Ireland.
And I think I think your situation is very similar. You know, you have people coming in, and I told the Prime Minister I would stop it, and it doesn't matter if you call out the military, it doesn't matter what means you use, but it's going to destroys countries from within. And we're actually now removing a lot of the people that came into our country. It's a very hard chore. We were given a very, very bad hand. Millions of people came in from prisons and mental institutions. We have to remove them. And we are removing them. We have no choice. And I feel very strongly about it. Thank you very much.
Jack, let me just deal with the question of returns, because this is obviously an issue we're taking incredibly seriously. We've struck a number of deals both on cooperation with other countries, because this is a problem right across Europe, to tackle the problem of actually breaking up the gangs that are running this trade. We have had a record number of returns, over 35,000 now since we came into office. That's the highest number for the best part of 10 years. We struck the returns arrangement with France, and notwithstanding the challenges to that scheme, which you've seen in the last few days, a flight went off at 6:15 this morning, successfully returning someone under that scheme. So that is an important step forward. Obviously, there's no silver bullet here. There's a range of things that need to be done. But given the challenges of returning people, it is important that we're able to prove it can be done. It was done. It was done early this morning. So I can confirm that that flight went. It went successfully. And I'm pleased about that. Now we need to ramp that up at scale, which was always envisaged under the scheme. But it's very important that we have been able to prove that the proof of concept, if you like, that this can be done, and will continue in that way.
So, I mean, of course they should be having mass deportations. Same in Ireland. A lot of people talk about re-immigration and all this kind of thing. Just put the Irish people first. That's it. Everything would be solved if you put the Irish people first. In the UAE, in Dubai, it's like a 20-year citizenship. You know, you have to speak Arabic, you have to be Muslim, you have to do all these different things. So, you know, they're putting their own people first, guys. If you go into the ice cream parlor, the sheikh gets served before you, because that's just the status quo. And to be perfectly honest, guys, they run their country with a 90% immigration rate. Now, I'm not saying I want that for Ireland. You know, we are an island, and we don't have the same history as these countries in the Middle East, but we can run them in a situation where we put our own people first and still have a few people working jobs here and there. But yeah, absolutely. Of course, any criminals should be deported, guys. The criminality of the UK is just a disaster. I mean, the actual crime has gone through the roof there. And Ireland is following suit, guys. You know, if we don't do something about the crime, Ireland is definitely following suit. But it's good that Trump is putting pressure on Keir Starmer, on Micheál Martin, on these European people to actually get them to handle immigration properly, because it is a big threat to the country. You heard him say it. It destroys countries from within. And if we had strong Irish men stopping them coming over, we wouldn't even have this issue to begin with. You know, this illegal immigration problem. The last story as well is linked by somebody on Gripped Media. It says, Indian man broke into Japanese woman home through the balcony and sexually assaulted her. Upon his arrest, the Indian man stated he had no recollection of the incident, so short-term memory loss. The trial was closed to the public, so we have no idea what happened to him. So I'm not sure if he was executed or what, but let's hear exactly what has happened, because basically in Japan, they only have like 3 million immigrants of a country of 127 million people. I mean, their country's massive, guys. You know, they have a very tiny immigration rate, but it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And there's protests and there's people trying to stop that because these people are illegal as well. The same situation as Ireland. They come over with no passports, you know, this kind of thing that the lady said at the beginning, Carol Nolan said at the beginning of the video. They come over and they burn their passports or they put them in the toilet. And how could 30 men come over on a flight from Romania or one of these countries, or, you know, Syria, and all of a sudden have no passport? You know, it doesn't make any goddamn sense, guys. Okay, so this is in Japanese, obviously, but yeah, crazy. So, unreal. I don't exactly know what the hell is happening with this story, but it's a disaster. And a lot of people in the comments are being nationalistic. They're saying, wait till the kamikazes come out. And that's it, man. I mean, that's just, you're breeding this resentment of your own people, and it just causes people of your own country to go crazy. That's plain and simple what it is, guys. You know, you're causing anger of your own people. When you don't put your own people first, the country starts to fail immediately. I love you guys all. If you want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member. We have like 28 members now, so I greatly appreciate that. Let's get that up to 50, guys. It's only €3 a month, and you can help me push back against the mainstream media, because the mainstream media will never report on these news stories on YouTube. You will never see them report from an Irish perspective on YouTube, because I'm going to put out every single day Irish news stories. I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.